Okay, so on this Mark II carburetor install, we kept the factory fuel pump and miscellaneous that's connected behind the back seat. We kept all that, as you can see, in place. And I'll go to the front here and show you what we did in the front to clarify a few things from our earlier video. Okay, so let's talk fuel system. So what we did is the kit that Jim bought for off of a Yamaha R1 came with a fuel pump that was supposed to supply 3.5 pounds of pressure. We weren't sure if that pump would be able to supply enough fuel, because let's be honest, this is a little bigger than what an R1 motor would be. So what we wanted to do is we went ahead, and I'm going to zoom in here for you. We went ahead and we bought a fuel regulator, or Jimmy bought a fuel regulator that said it would go down to 5, I believe it was, PSI. So we thought, okay, we'll do that. Well, the problem was that regulator would not go down to 5. It went to like 8, even though it was advertised that would go lower. So what did we do? We just decided to step it down to another regulator, which dropped it down to about 5 pounds of pressure. And from there, we fed the fuel system coming out of here, went right in. And so that right there, if you got a really good, and of course we found one after the fact that would get down to like 3 psi, 3.5, something like that. So if you put one good regulator in that's rated to go below what you're looking for, I think you could get away with that. So a couple other mods that we came up with. Okay, so this thing has a computer. It used to be obviously fuel injected. So we had a couple challenges when we switched this over. First of all is the pull, the length of pull that this requires to go from idle to full throttle is not the same as the length of pull that the car had. So we had to change that length of pull so that the car would have a full throttle. You know, basically what it was the second you gave the gas, you were at full throttle on the carbs. And then what would happen is this down here would come on, couldn't disconnect it. So Jimmy came up with this idea. Okay, he created this. And what it does is it lets you go from, lengthens your throttle pull. Okay, which is kind of nice. Okay, and you're going to need to come up with something. Now, that's a creation of his own. He took, long story short, he used the bearing out of, I believe he said one of his kids' spinners, fidget spinners, and, he created this. Well, then, so we did this, and we fixed the throttle issue, and then it still wasn't running right. So we bought a stage 4 kit from Yamaha, and he played around with that, and here's where he's at. He put the stock needles back in, but he did put the stage 4 pilot bearing in. It's still not quite enough at idle and low RPM, so he is going to have to increase that from a stage 4. Now, I don't know. I'm not a Yamaha guy. I don't know if they make a stage 5 pilot jet that you could buy or not, but that's most likely going to be what you're going to need. You can drive it like it is, but like Jimmy said, it could use a little bit more fuel on the bottom end. Now on the top end, he ended up going to a 185 main jet, and you're going to find that the stage 4 jet that came in this kit is nowhere near big enough. So you're going to need to do some work on jetting your carbs. And then the last part that we discovered was, even after we got all that, it still wasn't running right. And what Jimmy discovered was right here, this wiring here. The computer was looking for, it couldn't recognize throttle position. So he put 2 switches in here. Okay, so the computer can sense when the car's at idle, and the computer can sense when you're at wide open throttle. So it changes your map at fuel and air curves. So that's something that you want to do as well if you're going to do one of these mods. Now listen, I'm not the expert. This is something Jimmy's, I'm not going to stand here and tell you Jimmy's I'm not going to deny it. Jimmy's a smarter than I am, and he's a genius at some of this stuff he pulls off. So, if you have questions, just feel free to shoot me a message. That's kind of what created this idea of a second video here for you, was because a viewer had asked me to do so. Okay, so hopefully you found it very helpful and informative, the updated that we just did on the carb installation on Jimmy's Mark II behind me. I hope that it's given you, between the first video and this second follow-up, it's given you the courage to tackle something like this from home. We certainly didn't know what we were getting into when we decided to try something like this. It was kind of a learning experience, but hopefully we've shared with you enough information that you can do this and be successful at home. And as always, we're here to answer any questions you might have, so please hit me up, and I will do the best to work with whomever I'm collaborating with. In this instance is Boosted Tag or Jimmy, and we'll try to get you answers to your questions. With that said, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. I'm telling you, we're always trying new things here. Who knows what we're working on next. Jimmy's building a Honda hatch in his garage. We're going to continue to shoot video and updates on that. We're always working on Euro stuff. I mean, I've got my Golf R. I want to do stuff too. Jimmy's Mark II. Man, American Muscle. I mean, I've got some stuff. My old school 67 Firebird. We've done a couple things to it. So my point is, there should be something for everybody on this channel. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell so you can stay up to date on all the latest videos. And please share with your friends. Let them know to check out the channel. With that said, I hope you have a great day. Watch, like, subscribe. Driven to compete.